Hi, Internet. I wanted to talk this week about games that have disappointed me, if that makes any sense. Now, these games aren't bad necessarily, they're just kind of, you know, there, if that kind of makes any sense, or they weren't living up to the hype that I had in my head. I have a couple of them here, and there's more that I don't have physical copies of. But I just want to go through a couple of these. I'd say the first, really big disappointment I had in gaming was Bulletstorm. Way back when this came out, God, this had to have been 2010, 2011? Yeah, 2011. I got it for my birthday. And I remember playing it for like an hour after I opened it. And I remember just thinking, this is it? You just run around and shoot people? Not that, there's a billion games out there where you just run around and shoot people. I don't know why I thought this would be any different, but, nothing stood out to me as new or creative. It just seemed kind of there. And I remember, not playing it after that day. And, my parents would ask, how's the new game? And I'd be like, oh, it's, great playing it, but really I was off playing something else. And then there are games where you play the first game and you don't really like it, and then you play the second game and you really love it. For me, that was Borderlands. I remember when I was young and I didn't really understand Borderlands, I played the first game and I did not like it one bit. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't like that I was dying so quickly. I didn't really get the whole concept of everything scaling with me. And I just remember it not being a lot of fun. And I got maybe a quarter of the way through with it and I just stopped. But, that doesn't really, these are some disappointments, but they're still, fun games. Looking back on Borderlands 1, it's a fun game now. Bulletstorm, I tried it out. I actually tried it out recently. It's fun. And then there are games that just kind of were parts of my life, but they don't really take up an impact. See, what I mean by that is when I play games, I want a game that sucks me into it, gets me really involved in the game. I want to be emotionally destroyed when a game is done. And not a lot of games can do that. Games that have done in the past, BioShock Infinite, Life is Strange, Last of Us. When I was younger, Kingdom Hearts 2. Those games drew me in, and when they're done, you feel like you really went on an adventure. And then you have stuff like Kingdom Hearts 3, which, don't get me wrong, is a decent game. And I was as hyped as anyone for this. When this came out in 2019, or whenever the hell it came out, I remember I played it all night and took off work the next day to play it. And it's just kind of there, if that makes any sense. It's not a bad game, it's just a game, and I literally have not... I beat it. By the way, when I played it the first time, I didn't die once the entire game. Not a single time. I can say that with 100% confidence. I did not die playing Kingdom Hearts 3. And I haven't touched the game since I played it once. And it's going on 4 years. Not a single time. And then there are games like Pokemon Sword, where I grew up playing Pokemon Emerald and Ruby. And I love those games. They're fantastic to me. And I was excited, because, I hadn't really played I have a bunch of Pokemon games. I haven't really played a Pokemon game since then. So I was like, okay, I'm going to dive back into it. My friend says she loves these games. I'm going to give it a shot. And boy, was this a game. That's about it. That's all I can say about it. It's just a game. There's nothing special about it. And I I remember I was playing it, and it got to the point where I was like, okay, well, I'm like at the fourth gym leader. I might as well get through it. And I think it took me like a day to get through. And I remember getting done with it and being like, all right, well, that, that's it. And I put the game on my shelf and haven't touched it since. And I'd say two of the biggest disappointments in gaming for me, and I have Borderlands here for a reason, because it's not Borderlands 2 and it's not the pre-sequel. It's not Borderlands 1. You can guess what it is. Borderlands 3. I went into that with so much hype, and like an hour into it, I was like, okay, I know exactly where this is going. I know exactly how this is going to play out, but the gameplay is fun. Let me at least keep playing. And it just went on and on and on, and it did not stop. And I remember getting like halfway through, and I was just like, oh my god, I have to be getting close to the end now. There has to be a goal in sight. And then I played for another 12 hours. And I have no memory of that game. Like, it took, I don't even remember the main characters, like, the main villains, the twins. I don't remember their names. So that was a big disappointment. And then, I'd say the most recent disappointment was Far Cry 6. Boy, that was a game. I hate to keep using that term because it's so generic, but what else can you really say? Like, I played 20 minutes of Far Cry 6, and I'm like, okay, I've seen the entire game. The entire game. It didn't help that they kept throwing companions at you, which I didn't want. One thing that really got me was, in one of the tutorial stages, in the beginning, the alligator companion, I think his name is Guapo. Don't quote me on that. It's been a while since I've played it. But anyways, the alligator companion. You're overlooking a castle on this beautiful, like, cliffside. And you pull out your camera, you pull out your phone, because it's a phone in these games. And you zoom in, and you see the main guard, the guard that has the keys. And you're tasked with getting in and killing that guard. There was a button to send Guapo in. And I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. I clicked the button, Guapo waddled past every single guard, and just ate the main guard. Didn't get spotted once, even though I watched him walk past 30 enemies. And I sat there in amazement, and I just went, really? Like, that's it? And the more I looked at it, I'm like, okay, the main character, I don't even remember his name. And the main bad guy, I don't remember his name either. He's gonna show up once in a blue moon, be all spooky and psychotic, and then just leave, and, you know, something tragic's gonna happen, but our main character's gonna get away. God, what a waste of time. And money, too. Very few of these games I buy new. But those were games I bought new. I don't buy a lot of new games unless I really, like, you know, want to. An example of a few brand new games I bought in the last couple of years. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Love that game. Resident Evil, the new one. Loved it. Life is Strange, True Colors. Loved that one. And then you just have these. They're just disappointments. They're not bad. This isn't a bad game. 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 They're just disappointments. And that's all I could say. I've been feeling like that with a lot of games. I don't know. I feel like we've kind of plateaued as a game industry at the moment. I don't know. Maybe I'll make a video discussing that, my views on it. But, you know, let me know what you think. I'm interested to hear what other people think. And, you know, don't get me wrong. I'm going to keep collecting these games because I do enjoy playing them. But there are some games that just, you know, don't live up to the hype. And unfortunately, that's life sometimes. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what games were disappointments to you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Support me on Ko-fi. The link will be down in the description. And thank you very much for watching. And I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. I did. Thank you.